So I recall first the results we obtained in the last course. We have defined two classes of algebraic numbers, Piso numbers and Salem numbers. So I recall, so you have that in mind. This is a Piso number, and its conjugate are inside the unit circle. And the Salem numbers, and the set of Piso numbers is called S. And Salem numbers are algebraic integers. That means that the minimal polynomial is monic. And Salem numbers, all the conjugates, are inside or on the unit circle. So you have conjugates like that. And of course, only one conjugate because it is a reciprocal polynomial. This Salem polynomial is a reciprocal polynomial, and the set of Salem numbers is called T. Well, we have seen that there are two big problems concerning Salem and Piso numbers. The first one, we don't know if there exists a smallest Salem number. So the problem, mth of T, we don't know. Another problem, we have seen also that every Piso number is the limit of a sequence of Salem numbers, sequence tending to the Piso number from the right, and is the limit of another sequence of Salem numbers tending to the Piso number from the left. So we have seen that Piso numbers belongs to the first derived set of Salem numbers. But we don't know if there are other limit points for Salem numbers other than Piso numbers. So the other question, big question, these are two big questions. And the other is, are there other limit points than Piso numbers? So these are the two big questions, and these questions are known from 60 or 70, well, no, 70 years now, but we have only partial results in this domain. Well, we have begun to give the proof of the reciprocal of Salem's construction, which is a theorem by Boyd, 1977. And this theorem says that let Q a monic polynomial with integer coefficients belonging to Z of Z, and which is reciprocal or anti-reciprocal such that Q of Z equals Z epsilon Z to the degree of Q, Q of 1 over Z. If epsilon is equal to 1, Q is reciprocal. If epsilon is equal to -1, it is anti-reciprocal. And the degree of Q is equal to Q. So let such a polynomial with only one root outside. When I say outside, it's to be quick. It means that it is outside the unit circle, and when I say inside, it is inside the unit circle, and when I say on, it is on the unit circle. So with only one root outside, one root sigma outside, and q minus 2 roots on, and there exists a Piso polynomial, P0, Piso polynomial, such that, so you see it's a polynomial with all its roots inside the unit circle but one, such that we have the relation q of z is equal to z to the n p0 of z plus epsilon z to the k being the degree of p0, z to the k p0 of 1 over z. Well, we must also add a condition if epsilon, but you will see it's not very, it's not a very hard condition. If epsilon is equal to +1 and the degree of q and q even, you must add that the middle coefficient of q is even. What does that mean? That means that I have not said that q is irreducible. So you can multiply q by a cyclotomic polynomial. And to get that assumption, you have to multiply q by z to the square plus 1. So it's not a great constraint. Well, so I have said that to construct such a polynomial p0, we consider the algebraic curve q of z and t, which is defined by q and z of t equals 0 equals q of z plus epsilon, sorry, what I have said. Equals p of z, z to the n, p of z plus epsilon z to the k, p of 1 of z, and I must add t. So it's the second variable. Such a polynomial in two variables defines an algebraic curve, and we have defined what is if you have, so you see that q of z and 1 is nothing else than capital Q of z. And if we have seen if alpha is a root of modulus 1 of q, that q of alpha equals 0, we have defined what I have called exit and entrance for alpha, because alpha this algebraic curve has n plus k branches, and there is one branch, there is zeta 1 of t, one branch which goes through alpha. such that Z1 of 1 equals alpha. So you have the configuration, you have the unit circle, you have alpha on the unit circle, and we have said there is a branch going through alpha, but this branch, we said we have oriented it by t increasing, and you look at that branch. For t equals 0, z1 of 0 is either inside or outside. And if z1 of 0 is inside, well, you have a branch like that, which goes through alpha because of properties we have seen on Q of Z and T. This branch cut the unit circle orthogonally, and this is an exit. So this is an exit. So since we have, we need only exit, I recall only that. And we have characterized exits by the relation alpha is an exit if and only if alpha epsilon alpha bar to the k minus 1, k is the degree of the polynomial p, it is an exit if and only if epsilon alpha bar to the power k minus 1 q prime of alpha times p of alpha negative. So what we have? We have a polynomial q. We suppose, for the demonstration, for the proof, we suppose that epsilon equals minus 1 and the degree of q is odd. But the proof is the same in the other cases. You have only to modify some slightly. So we suppose now that epsilon equals minus 1 and q equals 2m plus 1. So you see the problem. You have the polynomial q, which has odd degree. Epsilon equals minus 1 if you replace in the relation, what it is? Well, I have not written it, but think epsilon equals minus 1, t equals 1. You see there is another root which is 1 for the polynomial q. So you have q, I repeat, q of z equals z to the n p of z minus. So here, if q is equal, no, excuse me, minus z to the k p of 1 over z. Well, so the polynomial q, to simplify, if a polynomial is of the form a0 z to the p plus a1 z to the p minus 1 plus etc. plus ap, you write it for short a0, a1, etc. ap. So I give the coefficients of the polynomial q, that is the known. So for the polynomial q, you have 1, it is monic. So you have 1, d1, sorry, yes, 1, d1, d2, etc., dm, minus dm, minus d m minus 1, etc., minus 1. And we are looking for a polynomial we look for P bar, sorry, with integer coefficients satisfying such that Q of Z, in fact, we simplify that. We don't put n, but we look for P such that Q of Z is equal to Z, P of Z minus Z to the K, P of 1 over Z. So here, the polynomial Q is of degree, I put the degree. The polynomial Q is of degree 2m plus 1. So you look for a polynomial P of degree 2m, satisfying that. And if you make the computation, you finally obtain that the polynomial P is of the shape P is 1, C1 plus D1, C2 plus D2, etc., Cm plus Dm, Cm, Cm minus 1, etc., C2, C1. And we are looking for integers, C1, Cm, satisfying such that, so we look for P such that we want C1, Cm integers such that the 2m minus 1 roots of Q on the unit circle are exits. So now I give a name to the roots of Q on the unit circle. These roots are 1 and pairs of conjugates Z1, Z1 bar, etc., Zm, Zm bar. So you have 2m plus 1, Z with the subscript m minus 1, Z bar m minus 1. So you have 2m minus 2, that is 2m minus 1 roots on the unit circle. And now you translate the relation to have exits in that point. And well, what do you obtain? I try to be short. So you have Q of Z, since it has the root 1, is equal to Z minus 1 R of Z, and R is a polynomial of degree 2m, and you can write it R of Z in the shape Z to the m, A of Z plus 1 over Z. It's the polynomial A is associated to the polynomial R has its roots, all its roots on the unit circle but 2, and A, the polynomial A, has all its roots real. They are all inside the interval minus 2, 2, but 1, which is sigma plus 1 over sigma, which is outside. And now, what is, so when you translate the fact that all these points are exits, you get a system of inequations. And I show you the system. That system is perhaps, well, the system is the following. You have so that thing to compute Zg bar to the power 2m minus 1 q prime of Zg p of Zg, which is equal to Zg plus Zg bar minus 2 A prime of rho g, I say in a moment what is rho g, times Zg to the power 1/2 plus Zg bar to the power 1/2, that has the coefficients, times something involving C1 up to Cm. So this is C1 times Zg to the power m minus 1/2 plus Zg bar to the same power m minus plus C2 Zg to the power m minus 1/2 minus 1 plus Zg bar to the same power m minus 1 minus 1 minus 1/2 minus 1 plus etc. plus Cm times Zg to the power 1/2 plus Zg bar to the power 1/2 plus another thing, Zg to the power 1/2 times Zg to the m plus d1 Zg to the m minus 1 plus etc. plus dm. And we must have such inequations to translate that Zg is an exit. And you have G between 1 and minus 1. And you have to translate that the point 1 is also an exit. So you have another inequation, q prime of 1, p of 1 equals r of 1, p of 1, which is positive. Well, so you look at such a system of inequation. It is of the form, you see it is of the form B1G C1 plus etc. plus BMG Cm greater than BG. BG. And G is between 1 and M. Because you have m minus 1 inequation plus 1, that is, you have m inequations. These inequations can be made in that shape. So you have here the matrix of the system. The matrix B, you may observe that the matrix B, which is the matrix which is made with the Bij here, is non-singular. So you can prove that the determinant of B is different from 0. How can you prove that? It's a beautiful proof. In fact, the idea is if it is singular, there is. If not, there is a vector x, which is x1, etc., xm, which is different from 0, etc., 0, satisfying B 1g x1 plus etc. plus xm equals 0. You have m equations. But what are the B1g? The B1g is expressed in terms of these things here. And in fact, what you get, B of x equals 0 is nothing else than x1 times zg to the m minus 1/2, plus x2, I write it in, I put x1 here and x1 at the end with another coefficient. x1, x2, zg to the power m minus 1/2 minus 1, plus etc., plus xm, zg to the power 1/2, plus xm, zg to the power minus 1/2, plus etc., plus x1, zg to the power minus m plus 1/2 equals 0. And you have m equations like that. So what does that mean? That means that the polynomial, these equations, that means that if you consider the polynomial x1 capital X to the power 2m minus 1, so you see you have to multiply by z to the power m minus 1/2. So you have here zg to the power 2m minus 1, and here x1 only. So you understand what I am doing. So that polynomial x1 capital X to the power 2m minus 1 plus x2 capital X to the power 2m minus 2 plus etc. plus xm to the power capital X to the power m plus xm to the power x to the power m minus 1 plus etc. plus x1. That means these relations means that this polynomial, which is of degree 2m minus 1, has roots z1, etc., zg, well, I must say, as root zg for zg and zg bar for g between 1 and m minus 1 has root 1. So you have 2m minus 1 roots, but there is another root which is obvious. That is the root, since it is odd, the root minus 1. So that polynomial would have 2m roots, which is a contradiction. So if the polynomial, if the matrix B was singular, well, we get a contradiction. So the matrix B is not singular. and you look at the system of inequation with a matrix B, which is not in singular, and that defines an orthant in in Rm. So the inequations define an orthant, which is a polyhedral cone. So, well, if you are in the plane, it defines something like that, and you have to find in such a cone a point with integer coordinates. And since it's a polyhedral cone, you have inside at least one point, C1, Cm, and of course you have an infinity of points like that, and so you have at least one p satisfying the relation, one polynomial p satisfying the relation, and in fact we get more. We get an infinity of polynomial p, so you get an infinity of Piso polynomial satisfying that construction. Well, so now, of course, it's P, the polynomial P defines a Piso polynomial because we have chosen that all the roots of Q on the unit circle are exits. So we have, I must say that also, we have how many? Well, we have, where is my hypothesis? Oh, well, it's here. So we have two how was what I say? G 2m minus 1. Well, I'm sorry. We must count. So, first remark, that the polynomial P has no root on the unit circle. Why? Because if there was a root on the unit circle of P, well, the conjugate will be a root also. So this root will be among the roots of Q. So it will be among Z1, among the ZG and 1. And it's impossible because of this inequation we have made. Well, so from the lemma, we deduce that the 2m minus 1 roots, so we have proved that the 2m minus roots of modulus 1 of Q are exits of branches, are exits of branches of the algebraic curve. But if there are exits, the branches begin inside. And they begin inside. So Z, P of Z, the beginning of the branches are the roots of Z of ZP of Z. So ZP of Z has 2m minus 1 roots inside. So the polynomial P has 2m minus, oh, I'm sorry, what I have done. Are exit of branches. So P has 2m minus 2, well, there is something wrong. P is 2m, well, yes. P has 2m minus, no, well, my counting is wrong, and I can't see where. From the lemma, we deduce that the 2m minus 1 roots of modulus 1 of Q are exits. So they began inside. So we have P has 2 minus root. Well, strictly, well, of course, inside. And the sigma, which is the root outside of Q, sigma, is the end of branch beginning outside. So there is a root of P outside. Oh, excuse me. We let it, I think it's right, but I can't see now. So it's written here, but excuse me. So now we have the reciprocal to Salem's construction, and with that result, Boyd enumerated a list of Salem numbers, of small Salem numbers. Small is when the a list of small Salem numbers, list of small Salem. Small means that they are less than 1.32, etc., which is the smallest Piso number here. This list is composed of 43 Salem, and it has been settled in the following way. We know that each Salem can be obtained from a Piso. We know very well the set of Piso number, say less than 2. 2 is the second derived, the smallest element of the second derived set of the Piso number. So we know very well Piso numbers. So Boyd tried first the smallest Piso, and he obtained only a few Salem. Well, he obtained, it's in the notes, sigma 7, sigma 19, sigma 22, sigma 38. Well, he tried the second, and he was able to add more Salem, but after that, all the Piso numbers less than the golden section give no more Salem numbers. So he tried another method. He tried other polynomials. Instead of taking polynomials, Piso polynomials, that is only with one root outside, he took a polynomial with two roots outside, but giving nevertheless Salem numbers, and he obtained more Salem, but he tried also a polynomial due to Cantor, another polynomial in the paper of Flemmer. So he had more and more Salem in the list, but it was not sufficient, so he had another method, and this method, he used an algorithm which was taken by Piso to get the list of small Piso numbers, which is the Schur's algorithm. So he got a a list. You can see the list on Mosingov's website. Look at Mosingov's website. But, well, of course, the problem I gave here is not solved. What?
How long ago did he find this list?
In 1977, like his theorem.
And how well has the list survived? Have there been any new additions of small?
After that, perhaps, perhaps 20 years, 30, because to that list, only 4 Salem numbers have been added. I don't know whom discovered them because, you have many investigations by Rhin, by all these people. So, so for 43 Salem in 1977, and plus 4 more. But these, if you look at the list, it's on the web. If you look at the list, these Salem are sigma, those which have been added. Oh, I'm sorry.
So, I mean, my thought is, I know the smallest one on the list has not changed.
Yeah.
But for the new ones that are added, I mean, have they changed, the smallest 20 that
No.
they found?
No.
So it looks like
the list was unchanged till sigma 38.
Oh.
So the 38 first are still the smallest since 1977. Oh. Well, now I would like to show you 2 classes of Salem numbers which are particularly interesting. So, so you have considered the construction Q of Z equals Z P of Z plus epsilon Z to the K P of 1 over Z. Well, and at about, 1980, 82 perhaps, I don't remember quite well, we observed, Boyd and I, that in fact we have 2 approaches for the Salem numbers. The approach which was developed by Boyd here in finding Piso polynomial satisfying that, in finding polynomials P with only 1 root outside and all the root inside, and in 1977, I defended my thesis, and in my thesis, I had another approach. I look at some. I look at algebraic numbers which are defined by equations of the form Z equals A of Z over Q of Z, with A of Z, A over Q in modulus less or equal to 1 on modulus of Z equals 1, and the polynomial Q without root inside or on the unit circle. So with a polynomial Q which has all its roots outside. And I had some results on this with these algebraic numbers. And so we observed, Boy and I, that in fact in that construction we can take the class of polynomial P, Piso class, with all the roots of P inside but one, and the class of polynomial P with all the roots outside. It's the choice that I have made. And so the class A of polynomial is a class P with no zero inside and on. So no zero in absolute value of z less or equal to 1. And the class B of polynomial P, which has a single zero, only 1 0, outside, and the others inside. And in fact, here it is following the Salem's constructions and Boyd's theorem. And we define, and these classes of polynomials can give Salem numbers. Both can give Salem numbers. You may also define other classes. So other classes of polynomials, other classes P with S roots outside and K minus K is the degree of P, K minus roots inside. And you can also get Salem numbers, but we may obtain Salem numbers with these classes, but you obtain also other reciprocal polynomial. You can get a reciprocal polynomial with 2 roots outside, 2 roots inside, and or 3 roots outside, 3 roots inside, and etc. So the advantage of taking the two classes A and B is that we obtain Salem polynomials or cyclotomic polynomials or z to the n, something like that, only zeros. So it's why we concentrate our attention to this class A and B. And we defined two classes, two subsets of Salem numbers, which I define now. The class AQ, definition 1, the set AQ is a set of Salem numbers, set of Salem, produced by polynomials P, by polynomials P of class A. P of class A satisfying absolute value of P of 0 equals Q and epsilon equals minus sign of P of 0. And the class B, definition 2, the set BQ is a set of Salem produced by polynomials P of class B satisfying P of 0, absolute value of P of 0 equals Q, and epsilon equals sine of P0 of 0, where P0 is defined by P of Z equals Z to the power m minus 1 P0 of Z, and P0 of 0 different from 0. And you see m is greater or equal to 1. And, well, we had in mind that perhaps these classes are interesting because suppose it was a hope, of course, that Salem numbers will be well distributed such that, well, Salem, P, the set of Salem, in the interval 1C, C greater than 1, was a hope, was contained is a finite union of AQ or a finite union of BQ. Well, it's why we studied the sets AQ and BQ. Well, of course, some years before, just after my thesis, I tried with also with Schur's algorithm to obtain all the Salem of the set A2. But I didn't succeed to find all the Salem of set A2 because here with Schur algorithm you get some trees. And in fact, there is, in that set of trees, there are branches which, in a sense, in the graphs, correspond to, if you have something tending in the tree, you have something corresponding to the second derived set in the tree, and so it was too complicated for me. But I obtained that some of the smallest Piso numbers belong to A2, and I give you one example. I found that, for example, sigma 1, which is the Salem, the Lemon number, which is equals to 1.1762, etc., is given by three equations. Z equals, the first one is Z equals 1 plus 2Z plus Z to the square minus Z3, etc., plus 2Z to the 10, over a polynomial which has all its roots outside. So what I have told you. And this polynomial is 2 plus 2z minus z to the 3 minus z to the 4 minus z to the 5 minus z to the 6 minus z to 7 plus z to the 8 plus 2z to the 9 plus z10. But I have also other polynomial giving the sigma 1. Z equals more simple, or in the denominator is 2 plus 2z plus z to the square plus z to the 8 plus 2z to the 9 plus z10, which is also a polynomial having all its roots outside, and there is another. So for your information, I give some of a part of my result here. But I had the hope that in sigma 2 we get all the smallest, but in fact not. I have obtained some of the known smallest. And when we decided to to study this subset of Salem numbers. We characterized them, and then we discovered that, in fact, A2 was contained in the list here, except 4 or 5 Salem numbers. And the characterization is the following. I have how long?
15 minutes.
So I have 15 minutes?
20 minutes.
Okay, okay, thank you. So I give you the characterization. So I divide my blackboard in 2 parts. So the Salem tau has minimal polynomial T. Excuse me, the same letter as the set of Salem numbers, but here it designs a polynomial. So here is the characterization of AQ, here is the characterization of BQ. And tau belongs to AQ if there is a polynomial K which is cyclotomic with I mean product of cyclotomic with simple roots, with K of 1 different from 0, and there exists a polynomial L which is reciprocal here the same assumption, tau belongs to BQ if and only if there exists the polynomial K and the polynomial L. Well, with some conditions. The first one is A, L of 0 is equal to Q minus 1. So it's particularly interesting because when Q equals 2, because L of 0 equals 1, so your reciprocal polynomial, you will see, in fact, is monic. A B degree of L is equal to degree of KT minus 1. And here is the same conditions, A prime, not the same condition. The polynomial L must satisfy L of 0 equals Q plus 1. The second condition B prime is the same. Degree of L is equals degree of KT minus 1. Third condition C, L of 1 must be greater or equal to minus K of 1 T of 1. And you see T of 1, since T is a minimal polynomial of a Salem, you have only one root, real root between 1 and infinity. So T of 1 is negative. So here, and in most cases, you have to take K equals 1. So here you have something positive. So you must find a polynomial L with L of 1 positives, greater than something. And here the condition C prime is L of 1, it's less restrictive, greater or equal to K of 1, T of 1. So you see here it's negative, so you allow L of 1 equals 0, but here it's not allowed. So it's one of the difference between the two characterizations. And the last condition, it's probably the most beautiful condition, it's the interlacing property. Interlacing property. And D prime, so I say in a moment what it is. D prime, you have either, you have also interlacing property, but the polynomial L. L is either as in D, or L has a root as all its root inside, but one outside. Outside, and with the remaining, the roots inside, and with the roots inside, you have the interlacing property. You have interlacing. So what is interlacing property? That means the polynomial L in case D, L has all its roots on the unit circle. So you see, if K equals 2, L is cyclotomic, is a product of cyclotomic. So it's interesting to have that characterization. L has all its roots on the unit circle, and if you denoted by exponential I phi1, psi1, sorry, psi1, etc., exponential I psi m for the roots in imaginary part of Z positive, except, well, if I put positive is good. And you denote exponential E phi 1, etc., exponential E phi m, the roots of T, of the minimal polynomial of the Salem polynomial, the roots which are on the unit circle and in the imaginary part of Z positive or 0. Interlacing property is the following. Interlacing is you have 0 less than psi 1 less than phi 1 less etc. less phi m less than phi m less than phi m. Well, that is interlacing property. And in case BQ, you have either that, but the polynomial must satisfy other modified relations, or the polynomial L may have an extra root outside, and with interlacing property with the roots on. So in a sense, what is the philosophy of that? It is that the roots of Salem numbers on the unit circle are in a sense well distributed because you can separate them by roots of unity. You can have, well, if the Salem number is of great degree, the roots cannot be like that. All the roots here and 1, because if you have, if they are too close here, you cannot separate by a product of. So, well, in itself it's interesting, but we did nothing with that. Well, perhaps I enumerate just 2 consequences of that, and I announce another theorem that I obtained, but I don't give the demonstration here because I have no time. So, what's some consequences of that? So, first of all, that the set T of Salem numbers, it must be written like that, so you have no confusion with the polynomial T. So the set T of Salem numbers is equal to the union of AQ. And you can see very simply that easily that Q is always greater than 2 because you must have all the roots of these polynomials outside. So Q is greater or equal to 2 and is equal to the union of BQ for Q positive or 0. You have that the set AQ is contained in A KQ minus K plus 1 or minus 1. Well, sorry. Plus 1. For every Q greater or equal to 2, for every K greater or equal to 1. So you see, for example, that A2 is contained in A3. So it would be interesting, of course, to know a little bit on the set A3. Well, but at that time, when I do my computation, I had no computer. It was in 1980, and I must tell you that I am not a great well, you understand. I compute, I can't manipulate computers only to test, you know, or but not to list a program. So probably it will be interesting to examine that set. And well, and of course, as I told you, A2 is contained in the list of 43 small Salem, except a few, sigma 20, sigma 23, well, you can see in the notes. Well, how can we see that? Well, of course, to see that the Salem number belongs to A2, you must exhibit the polynomial K and L. So, in general, it's easy. But to show that, for example, sigma such a number doesn't belong to A2, you must use some of Boyd's result giving a representation of the Salem, which he obtained with the Schur algorithm, because as I told you, no, I didn't told, but Boyd enumerated all the Salem T intersection with 9/8 and 13/10. And the proof of that rely on this enumeration. But now I would like to. So many people try to solve, to find a minoration of a Salem number, and you have many results. But of course, they are not absolute. Some of them say that the Salem number is, you have a minoration with respect to the degree of the Salem number. And the most famous is the result of Dobrovolsky, which asserts that tau is greater than 1 plus 1 log d over log d. There is a constant here, and to the 3. So you see d is the degree of the Salem number. And you have also a beautiful result. So it uses transcendental method, not algebraic as we use. And you have a result of Smith also in 1980. That is tau is greater or equal 1 plus c over d. That's a constant. D is a degree. That is a beautiful. And I obtained the minoration in function of the discriminant of the polynomial defining the Salem polynomial or the trace polynomial, which is the polynomial associated to the Salem polynomial, which is the totally real polynomial, which is associated. Well, and so let me just give you the theorem. So you can have a look in the notes. The theorem is the following. I've lost it. Where is it? No. Ah, yes. Theorem. Let tau be a Salem of degree 2s, of degree 2s. Well, then tau is greater than 1 plus nth of two numbers. The first one is absolute value of delta tau plus 1 over tau. I tell you what it is, to the power 1 over s over 96s and 1 over 6. And what is delta tau? Well, delta tau plus 1 over tau is this determinant. In fact, it is the discriminant of the base tau plus 1/3 tau and its conjugates. And it is a determinant 1, 2 plus 1 over 2, etc. Tau plus 1 over 2 over tau to the power s minus 1, 1, the conjugate of tau, which is tau to the, well, tau 2 plus 1 over tau 2, etc. Tau 2 plus 1 over tau 2 to the power s minus 1, etc. And 1 tau s plus 1 over tau s, etc. Tau s plus 1 over tau s to the power s minus 1. And this is the determinant of that to the power to the square. So, in fact, you see this is a determinant of a polynomial which has all its roots real, a totally real polynomial. And this totally real polynomial has all its roots in -2, 2, but 1, which is outside. And if I take as minoration the discriminant, the minimum discriminant of a totally real number field, well, of course, I cannot, because this quantity tends to 0 with the degree of the number field. So, but perhaps it's interesting because you have seen, I have told you that the roots, the real roots of this polynomial in questions are not everywhere. They have a certain regularity, since the roots of the Salem numbers, of the small Salem numbers, are of the small, I mean, because it's only known for A2, are in a sense well distributed. So this totally real polynomial and totally real number fields are not are a little particular. So, well, the problem is not solved. So I will end here.